introduce you to Dr. Joe Griffin, a speaker, consultant, and author's intention is teaching and talk is to broaden their vision. The things they weren't taught when they brought up as children. Reach for the top, regardless of situations, predicaments, or your conditions. He's making history, all of the districts, increasing retention from teachers, 50 to 80%. That ain't all that you hear me. He is the mentor. He paved the way with his STIP methodology. Really, dream, be persistent, face fears, seek change, go out and go get it. This what you learning with Dr. Joe Griffin. With Dr. Joe Griffin, yeah. He says recognize trauma, push past the pain. If you got a problem, go look at his frame. Work your perspective and look at it change. Find a goal, set it in critical thing. Manage time, self-awareness. These are the few of the things he's trying to get you to do every day. Do every day. Led 5 schools to increase test scores with his teacher-principal collaboration. Things he gives to you will have you take your drive to the next level. But first, you need to get some fuel at gas station. Supporting education leaders, creating a culture for kids that'll last for ages. Lack of access to quality professional development, that's outrageous. Got his doctorate in education, leadership, research, make changes. Need to put the kids first and raise them. Need to teach them they worth, stop playing. Later on, they gon' run this nation. Dr. Joe with his dissertation taught to those who would fix, make changes. I introduce you to Dr. Joe Griffin, a speaker, consultant, and author's intentions. The teaching and talk is to broaden their vision. The things they weren't taught when they brought up as children. Reach for the top, regardless of situations, predicaments, or your conditions. He's making history, all of the districts, increasing retention from teachers, 50 to 80%. They ain't all that you hear me. He is the mentor. He paved the way with his DIP methodology. Really, dream, be persistent, face fears, seek change, go out and go get it. This what you learning with Dr. Joe Griffin. With Dr. Joe Griffin.
Great day, leaders. Welcome to the Speaking Life into You Leadership live stream. I am your host, Dr. Joe Griffin, where we talk leadership dynamics, personal and professional growth, educational trends, and provide solutions to help you with school improvement to create a culture of collaboration. Let's go! It's indeed another great Sunday evening. I'm so happy. I'm so empowered. I'm so proud to be here with you all, and I'm happy that each and every last one of you could join us, whether you join us live or whether you're in person. We definitely want to shout you out. So if you're here with us, please put it in the chat where you're streaming in from. I definitely want to know where you're coming in from. You can definitely like, share as well. We need your presence. We want to have a great show today, and we definitely are. We got some good ones. We have a good one lined up. Let's go. Albert Jeffries, definitely appreciate your brother Al for the comment, tuning in today. Wherever you're tuning in from, put it in. I see that some of you are in here, and we appreciate it. And I know that we have a lot of you to come back and watch it on the instant replay, So we got a good one today. Week 10, you all. Week 10. We've had a great start to the Speaking Life into You Leadership live stream. We have covered a number of topics over this first quarter, this first 9 weeks, whatever it is that you call it in your district, in your school. And now we're going into a crucial time of the year where you got to start making some leadership adjustments, some teaching adjustments, some instructional or cultural or organizational adjustments. So before we do that, we definitely want to hop in. It is October, Breast Cancer Awareness Month, a month that's very dear to me. I have an aunt who is a survivor. Each show this month is dedicated to her, Auntie Bobby Griffin, as well as all the other survivors around America and the globe. It is also Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So if you know any situations where domestic violence has been an issue, or whether you've been a victim of domestic violence, or if you know people who've been victims of it, let's bring awareness to domestic violence this month as well. So we got 2 big initiatives this month: breast cancer, that's why I'm wearing my pink, and we have domestic violence awareness month. And before we go into our topic today, Lawrenceville, Georgia, definitely appreciate that, brother Jeffries. Lawrenceville, Georgia, shout out. As we get ready to go into some of the adjustments, educational leaders as well as teachers, because teachers, I hope that you're in here as well, because you are leaders also. Are you in power or empowered? And who are you empowering? Are you empowered or are you empowered? And this is not just for educators, but for everyone. Are you in power or are you empowered? Are you working in your zone of genius? Are you empowered in your job every single day that you love what you do? The purpose is there. You leading with a firm nature, but you also provide that empathy that your people have to have. What are you doing? Are you leading an empowerment mindset where you putting other people in position to be successful? Because when we empower, in order to empower others, you have to be stable. You have to be aware of what you bring to the table, secure in your talents, empowering others. That's the only way that you can do that. On this platform each week, it's either me and another guest, but we're making a connection, empowering, and we collaborating. I try to model that every single week for you. So that's why I hope that you're joining in every week to get the value that we definitely provided. I know we're providing value. The first 9 weeks, we've covered operations, we've covered student leadership, we've covered instructional leadership, organizational leadership, and we're going to continue to build off of those things. Cultural leadership. Oh, yeah. We've been digging in, you all, and we've had representatives from the West Coast, Los Angeles, Midwest, Houston, as well as the South, Mississippi, Atlanta, Georgia, as well. We got a number of guests coming up. So as you continue to lead, as you prepare to make these adjustments in your school, in your district, and creating a culture of collaboration, you want to know, are you empowered or are you empowered? That's a deep one, you all. That's a deep one. Y'all definitely sign in where you're at. I want to go ahead. I want to do our affirmations, you all, because each week we do our affirmations. We standing on our leadership, standing on business, as they say, doing whatever we need to do to stay in control, stay in charge of our own behaviors. Because as leaders, you got to make sure that every single day you're putting yourself in a position to be successful, but you also empowering those teachers. All right. So let's definitely do our affirmations today. Affirmations today. I study my craft. Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. Say it loud. Whatever you need to do. I study my craft, because we know that to be the best we can be, you have to always be studying your craft. You got to make sure you're studying your craft. And these affirmations you all come from the 3 Sense Leadership Model to Empower Educational Communities. It is in the new book. I know you all are going to pick that up, so definitely check it out as well. I analyze data to enhance what I do. I analyze data to enhance what I do. You got to use the data. You got to be data-driven in all of your processes, individually and collectively as a team. So that's going to help put you and your school community in situations to be the best that you can be. Definitely keep that up. All right. And I strive for excellence. I strive for excellence. I strive for excellence, you all. All right. So that's going to be our lead in, some ways that you can definitely empower yourself. You got to self-assess, leaders. You got to always be in a reflective mindset. You got to self-assess where you are. You've got to continue to put yourself in a situation where we can be the best. Because as leaders, you got to, if you want the teachers to be working on being their best selves, you got to make sure that you're illustrating to them each and every day that you're also doing the same. You're also being the very best that you can be, and you illustrate it through what you do every single day. Study your craft. That was one of our affirmations today. You got to always be constantly putting in those hours toward being the best, toward improving in your practice. Research. All right. And then, of course, you got to put it into practice. You got research experiences, and then you got practitioner experiences. What are some ways that you empower yourself? Those of you that are here with us, what are some ways that you are empowering yourself? You can put it in the chat. I love it. Now, as we get ready to move forward, you got to ask yourself with your instructional adjustments, are teachers aligned with school goals? And what does that progress look like? Are teachers aligned with school goals, and what does that progress look like? What does that vision look like? Is it a shared vision? Have you been able to get your teachers and other educators on board to actually share the vision, to get that buy-in? That buy-in then leads to ownership. All right. So are your teachers aligned? That's a good question. What are you doing? What are some instructional practices that you have led with over the course of this first 9 weeks? Are they working? Are they being successful? Okay. Are they being successful? So after you start reflecting on these particular things, then you want to start thinking about what type of adjustments need to be made as a school leader right here, right now. And hopefully you have already seen every instructor in your building. Every instructor in your building through the first quarter, you should have already seen every instructor in your building. Observe them through a informal walkthrough. And if you were not able to do that, hopefully your delegates, assistants, instructional coaches, or what have you all have calibrated what good instruction looks like in your school, and someone has been able to observe informally that teacher so that they can get some feedback. That early feedback is important. How else are you going to be able to adequately provide them with the support that they need? Think about that. I'm just going off of nothing but my subjective thoughts. I don't have any data to back up what you're doing and what you're not doing in the classroom. As a leader, that's a problem. Okay, that's a problem. So make sure that you have seen each instructor in your building. If you have not seen them, let's make that a priority for this week. That needs to be your action call for this week. Call to action for this week. If you've not already seen all of your instructors, let's make sure that you get that done this week. All right, that's important, you all. That's important. Remember, like, share, subscribe. You all, I am giving value each and every week. Okay. Next, teacher improvement plans. Now, the only way you can even move toward this is that you already seen all of your teachers in action. You already been looking at your teachers in action. You know what they're doing. You already given some feedback, whether it was from you or whether it was from a delegate. Okay. But these, you don't want to wait later in the year, because then it looks like an attempt to get rid of someone instead of providing that support. Remember, we talked last week about causing situations where you have I see yous versus I got yous. You want to cause situations where you have I see yous versus I've got you. So if I've already been observing you and I'm seeing that we're having some problems, I want to be able to support you early and often so that when come next 9 weeks, come after the semester, instead of me putting you on a plan of improvement, then I've already provided you support. And now we continue in that dynamic. Now we're able to reflect better. We're able to move forward. Okay, that's a mindset. Remember, collaboration is a mindset. It's not a strategy. It's something that you have to plan for. So in this collaborative piece, if I know I got a teacher that needs to improve, and I need them on an improvement plan to improve, because I need my students' success. I need my students to have success. It's important that I get the data early that I need to be able to help and guide that teacher, because I still want to keep them if possible. I still want to retain them. All right. And what's better than having someone on your team who has seen you help them grow, who have felt you help them grow to next levels. That's powerful, you all. That's powerful. And as an instructional leader, that ought to be your goal each and every day, to be able to support your teachers, help them come up, bring them on to better places. That's what it's all about. Professional development. Professional development adjustments. You all, I know you have your agenda. I know you have your whole year professional development agenda already created. But if we're having problems early on with delivery of the lesson, these particular instructional strategies that we want to use, whether it's charts, whether it's graphic organizers, thinking maps, whatever it is that we want to implement, but it's not happening, we've got to adjust the professional development cycle. We've got to do that now. These are immediate adjustments. We can't wait until after January. Okay? You can't wait till you come back for a second semester. And this, whether you're on a 4x4, whether you're on a 7-period school day, whatever it is, you can't wait. Time is of the essence. Student success has to happen now. And it can happen now, but you got to be self-aware so that you can make decisions that are socially aware in order to bring everyone up. So again, professional development, does that need to take an adjustment? Do you need to keep going in the same direction? Do you need to implement additional focus? Because you've already been watching teachers. You've already been observing teachers, so you know what's going good and what's not going well. So you want to make those adjustments in your professional development schedule from that data that you've collected. Are y'all with me? Y'all with me? If you're hearing what we're saying, put something in the chat. I know we're adding value. I know we're adding value. We got Lady Crystal Record Depth ready here from Woonsocket, Rhode Island. We appreciate you. All right. And again, your professional development, your observations, we talked a little bit about that, and your audits. All right. You've got to constantly be auditing what you're doing instructionally. You got to constantly do that. I did an audit this week, and we were able to go in. This is a school that's already thriving, but we were able to go in, pick out some things to work on, to continue to improve. School improvement, you need it whether you're at the best school or whether you're at a low performing school. School improvement is a process that, again, is continual. It's ongoing. So you want to always be in the mindset that we're trying to improve. Collaboration is intentional. Okay? It's intentional. It's not random that you improve, that you continue to grow, that your students are performing at high levels, that your leaders are empowered, that your teachers are empowered, that your school district is growing. Okay? And I'm not talking about just growing because the accountability model aids to growth, but because everyone in the system is collaborating. We've got systemic collaboration going on, and people are improving. That's what it's all about, you all. That's what it's all about. So your first quarter instructional adjustments, that's just a few. Again, if you have any questions, comments, make sure you put them in the chat. You are, okay, adding value. Adding value. What's worked for you instructionally? What's worked for you instructionally over the first quarter? You got to think about that. You got to think about that. All right? You got to continue to think about that. All right, we're going to look at a few cultural adjustments that you may have to make. Let me see here. Can I find my slide here, you all? Yeah. All right. If you're getting value, put something in the chat for us. We definitely appreciate you. Some cultural adjustments as leaders, as teachers, that you may just have to make. Those crucial, courageous conversations, they have to happen now. I was blessed to be a featured guest on Principal Kafele's show a few weeks ago, and the topic was courageous conversations. The topic was courageous conversations. And I have a lot to add to that because I've been faced with some difficult ones at times. You talk about having to change the school community, and you have a teacher who has the 44th president dressed up as a clown, per se, saying that she's celebrating his Hawaiian roots. And number one, you shouldn't be political, but also it's going against the culture. You try and provide a positive school culture, and you got to have that conversation. This is somebody who's been in your school longer than you have. They've had this caricature up for years, but you got to have the conversation to have it removed because it's not right. It's setting the wrong example. It goes into social media and so forth. And you still got to balance it and create a culture of collaboration. Yeah, I've been there. You also, I know what it's like having to have those courageous conversations, because if you don't have it as the leader or as the teacher, if you're monitoring classroom situations, if you don't have that courageous conversation with those students or with that teacher across the hall, per se, or with that administrator, and vice versa, if the principal doesn't have those courageous conversations, it goes against everything that involves a positive discipline culture. We know that discipline culture, students, teachers, and administrators must work together on issues, no matter what type of issues, student to student, student to adult, or adult to adult issues. Okay, so to have a positive discipline culture, you want to make sure you're having those courageous conversations. You are. Don't avoid them. And the time is now. If you need to get a witness, if you need to get a witness, make sure you get a witness. But you cannot wait until January to try to correct the issues that you're facing now. That goes against all the principles of leadership. Remember, your job is to improve student success. Your job is to put teachers and students in position to be successful. All right. And if it means having a firm, get empathy-filled conversation, compassionate conversation, yeah, you need to have that conversation, you all. All right. Team building. Team building. You got to build your teams. You got to do some team building activities. Put some things in place that are going to help you all see each other as people. Perhaps going to one of the basketball games or a football game as a staff or as a department. Perhaps setting up a time where some of the staff go out to eat. Breaking bread with people definitely brings them close together. These are things that you have to intentionally put in place as the leader. Intentionally put these things in place as the leader. Team building activities, team building exercises, things that'll bring us closer together so we can know each other better, focus better, put out better for students. And all of this leads to an SEL focus, you all. SEL is imperative. It's important. Starts with self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, responsible decision-making, and relationship building. If empathy is a problem in your school, you've got to bring that to the focus. The great sisters that Create and Educate on their show this Saturday said that students improve on state and national tests by 11% when SEL is an initiative. All right. So let's make sure that SEL focus is there. That's so important. So important. Y'all with us today? How you feeling about some of these adjustments? I know you're reflecting. I know you're thinking. I know you're thinking, is this something that I need to do? Perhaps it was already on your list for you to do, but these are adjustments that are going to take you to next steps, to next levels. And don't let anybody tell you that you have to wait to turn your school around. I'm going to say that again. You don't have to wait to turn your school around. You're empowered. You are a leader. You strive for excellence. You can do it. Put that work in. Put that work in. Some organizational adjustments, you all. Some organizational adjustments. Communication upgrades. Is your message getting across? Is your message getting across? This is one of the things, one of the weaknesses I had to address as a principal. I would put out my Monday morning memo or other things, but I understand. But I had to come to a realization that everything is not understood just because I understand. So I had to get my assistant principal to look at it and make sure everything is understandable, it's comprehensive, that the directives or our plan is in place and that we can understand what's going on. You got to upgrade your communication. The only way you can upgrade is you reflect on how you've been communicating. The only way you can upgrade your communication is you reflect back on the first 9 weeks communicatory processes. You got to do that. Individual feedback and interaction. All right, you are. This is a good one because at some point you want to be able to limit the amount of whole staff meetings that you're having. And one way to do this, a couple of ways to do this, is to increase your individual feedback. Okay, that Monday morning memo that I just talked about. And here's one: Friday roundups. Friday roundups. Okay, it's an opportunity to interact with the group, but you also are able to eliminate a meeting that week. You can eliminate a whole staff meeting each week with a Friday roundup. Teachers usher the students to the doors on Fridays. They go out to the buses. Once they release, we round up at the door. Many teachers will already have their bags, the ones that need to get out. The ones that don't have their bags, of course, they're taking their time. Once the roundup is done, they'll go back, get their bags, and they'll leave. But Friday roundups, that takes off a meeting each week. This is an organizational adjustment. It's also going to help with the SEL piece because you're aware that your teachers have lives. You're allowing them to have a little extra time and taking away that meeting with the Friday roundup. We boost everyone up. We talk about the next week's events. We recap this week's events, and we prepare to move forward. We get a break. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Tiger faculty. 1, 2, 3. Lion faculty. Whatever it is, eagle faculty. We're building each other up. That's also a team building exercise. I hope y'all listening today. You can't get this anywhere else, you all. I'm trying to tell you how to build up your school through instructional, cultural, and organizational adjustment that you can make right now. Success doesn't have to wait for you. Now, in these schools, you can have it. You can put students in position to be successful. You can put teachers in position to be successful. Empowering your educational community, you all. That's what it's all about. So we've gone through some adjustments that you can make, some instructional adjustment, some cultural adjustment, and some organizational adjustment. If you're with me, put something in the chat. Let me hear you. One thing that you got to do, you all, as leaders, is self-assess. We talked about it at the top of the show. If I want you to get better, I should also be actively attempting to get better. I'm going to say that again. As a leader, even as a teacher, if I want my students to get better, I should be actively attempting to be better each and every day. If I'm a leader, I should be actively attempting to improve myself every day. The teachers need to see this. I'm modeling this. I'm modeling a culture of collaboration. I'm modeling working with, through others. That's what it's all about. That piece, self-reflection, goes right along with it. Self-reflect, self-assess, self-reflect, self-care. Because if you're not taking care of you, how can you take care of the teachers and the students? Teachers, if you're not taking care of you, how can you take care of the students? These are questions you have to ask. Self-care. I go to the sauna about 4 to 5 times a week because it feels good. I like being in there. I read a book in there. I like being in the sauna. It's self-care for me. What are you doing for self-care? What are you doing for self-care? Put it in the chat. What are you doing for self-care? What are you doing to self-assess? What type of leader are you? What are your strengths? What are your struggles? Are you relationship or results oriented? The Global DNA Behavior Assessment, it helps you with all of that. It helps you individually and as a team. It helps you individually and as a team. See me about the Global DNA Behavior Assessment, you all. This is something that you need. This is something that's going to accelerate collaboration. It's going to help take out the time of trying to figure out your teammates, because the data, it goes from, it's a 30-year assessment. I hadn't seen one that was not 100% correct already. Just last week, I was meeting with the principal and her top 2 assistants. And now they want to do it with the whole school, because the information that they gained from doing the self-assessment, then we put it together in a team report. Now you got a team report of all of the people on your team where you can see their strengths, their struggles, how they work best, what works for them, what doesn't work for them, etc. So all of these are important things. And of course, you want to make sure that you're checking security. Your security procedures, your security and your procedures. We know that although our schools are safe, they can become unsafe at any time. As evidence of that, there are examples of that happen every so often in our nation. And that's something that we have to really think about. And you don't ever think about it until it happens to you. Suicide Prevention Month was last month, and suicide prevention was never quite as important to me until I had one do it on the campus. And then we had to go into grief treatments to make sure that everyone was okay, that we had people who were well on campus, because we got to prioritize our emotional well-being. When things happen, sometimes your emotional well-being takes a hit. What does that look like? What does that look like? So again, we've had some great discussion today. What's some of y'all key takeaways today? What are some of the things that have piqued your interest? We did a number of potential adjustments. I think I tried to give you around 10 or so instructional, cultural, as well as potential organizational adjustments that you can make in your schools right now. That you can make in your schools right now to make sure that you're on the way. Because you want to have success this year. You want your schools to drive up this year. You don't want to wait till next year. I did it in multiple places. 5 to be exact, as the head principal. You come in, pull them up, then they bring you somewhere else. You can do it, but you've got to make sure that your implementations and initiatives become systems. Woo! I'm going to say that again for you all. You got to make sure that your implementations and initiatives become systems. Everything starts with an implementation. And then you keep refining it. You keep working on it. You make adjustments until it becomes a system. Now we've got the system going, and we keep pushing it. We keep pushing it. So that's what it's all about. And you're building up towards student success. and you're building up towards student success. You are, what are your key takeaways? What are some of the things that you're hearing today? Greetings from Memphis, Brother Marcus Stokes. How you doing, Brother Stokes? Thanks for checking in with us today, Memphis, Tennessee. I ask you again, are you empowered? Are you in power or are you empowered? As the leader, are you in power or empowered? And here's the big question. Who are you empowering? Who are you putting in position to be successful? Who are you collaborating with? Remember, I showed you this. It starts with the connection. It starts with the connection. It starts with the connection, and then you go to the empowerment. Now, once we're empowered, we can collaborate together. At the same time, you're respecting individuality and diversity. You can't do one without the other. If I want to be diverse, I've got to understand that there are individuals. As an individual, I've got to also understand that there's diversity. And when we have that respect for each one of those traits, now we get in a good space where we're able to make connections with people. The next sense, belonging and acceptance. If I'm in a space, whether it's a school, organization, you want to belong. The only way that you feel like you belong, though, is that people accept you. And when you accept others, then you have that feeling of belonging. It goes together, and you notice the affirmations that go with it to pound in each of those three senses to empower your educational community. Commitment and accountability. Y'all, I'm preaching right now. Commitment and accountability. I can't hold you accountable unless you're already committed. There's no way that you become committed without that accountability factor. They go hand in hand. You can't commit to something that you don't agree with or that's not a shared vision. So again, connection, empowerment, collaboration. Ooh, wait. Y'all, I hope you're with us today, because I want you to be able to make the connections, and I want you to be able to make the adjustments that you need to make to be able to finish out the second 9 weeks, okay? And you go into the January or go into the semester more empowered, because you know that you made some great adjustments at the first 9 weeks or at the first quarter that are going to push you through and that are going to continue. Now, before we get out of here, you all, I definitely want to add a few things to you. I want to, again, ask you to make sure that you get Empowering Educational Communities, a guide for teacher principal collaboration. It is available right now, endorsed by Principal Baruti Kafele, as well as Dr. Pedro Nogueira. You all get the book. It comes with the professional development, great for book studies, great for individual as well as team development. I promise you, you won't be disappointed with Empowering Educational Communities. I want to go ahead and do this as well, because I've shared the resources that I have authored or what have you, but I want to tell you just a little bit about them. First off, you see on that first pillar, the instructional leadership pillar, we've got the DIP approach for student and adult success. And make sure you order it. DIP approach for educator success manual. Discipline culture plus instructional practice equals performance. DIPP. That's your educational leadership tool. 40 step-by-step practices, you all. Check out some of the reviews on Amazon. All right. Then, of course, Empowering Educational Communities. We got the gold ribbon edition. Y'all see that gold ribbon? That's because it's endorsed by the big boys. All right. And then you'll notice the social emotional pillar, our cultural pillar. DIP approach for student and adult success. DIPP, the D in the different approach for student and adult success, you all. And I'm going to release some videos where I go deep into it, because I also talk to students about the different approach for student and adult success, as well as adults. But the D is for dream with desire. And there are 9 principles that fall under dreaming with desire. Of course, starting with believing in you all the way down and committing to be great. Daring to be great. The I, initiate and invest in you. Initiate and invest in you, you all. That's what the I is for. And even as a leader, as an educator, you have to continue to initiate and invest in yourself. Initiate and invest in your practices. Make time for your dream. And you got to always continue to move on down, dare yourself to be great. The first P, push past pain. I love push past pain, you all, because pain, you're going to face pain in everything you do in life. Not only in education, but everything you do in life. You're going to have adversity. You're going to have things that happen, roadblocks. They can't stop you. You're going to be able to, you have to face your fears and know that defeat does not mean you're defeated. Recognize your traumas. Know your worth. And we're going to always dare to be great. That's the P, push past pain. And then the last P, persist with purpose. And persisting with purpose, you all, it's just continue to go. It's continue to be who you are. Continue to keep that positive attitude through it all. Persevering through it all. Never giving up. Being empowered. Are you empowered? Or are you just in power? Are you in power or are you empowered? Empowered. That's a mindset. All right. And I want you all to continue to work past. So that's the dip approach for student and adult success. And then, of course, I have my poetry, you all, integration of the arts. I believe in the integration of the arts. It's therapy for our soul. And with that, that's the Spirit, Heart, and Soul collection of poems. And in it, Home of the Blues, have Christian poetry, and then Dream Season. And Dream Season, it is SEL based. It goes right along with your cultural leadership resources as well. Lots of alliteration, lots of other types of literary devices as well. So English is also my background. So I do, in addition to leadership consulting, professional development, I also do some ELA consulting. All right. I also do some ELA consulting. I am still currently an ELA professor. So I believe in the power of reading, writing, and so forth. All right. Those are our resources, you all. And if you need to contact me, if you want to make adjustments right now, if you want a proven leader who's turned around multiple schools in multiple states, in the South, as well as assisted on the West Coast in moving schools, seen a variety of things, you all. I've seen the ups and the downs of school leadership. And I wouldn't trade it for a word. That's why I'm here today, because I want to give back. I want to be able to be in a position to give back to leaders and teachers. That's why I'm here. That's why you're here. That's why, whether you're live or in person, where you come back and watch the video, because there's no way I get hundreds of views and you're not coming back getting the value. I believe in what we're doing. I know you believe in it too. So get me in there. Let's make these adjustments. Let's get your school turned around. Let's make it improve right now. Right now. Whether it's professional development, keynote speaking, whatever your needs are, come see Dr. Joe Griffin. Otherwise, you all, let's continue to educate, motivate, and be inspired. Dr. Joe here, you all. I'm signing off. Always speaking, always writing. Life into you. Have the best day. We'll see you next week.